Shards of Domination have had their drop rate be increased. There you go. Now, why is this not hotfixed in way earlier? I mean, you could have just hotfixed this in after the first reset, or maybe the second reset, because that was about the time when everyone was saying, hey, we're getting a bit suspicious over these Domination Shards. I would say, though, exactly what Dakor has said. Just make the rank 1 shards purchasable from Bonesmith Hyrmere in Korthia for some Stygian Embermints, and give people, a bundle to just buy them all. Because the fun part... Okay, I don't really think there is the fun part of the Domination Shards is getting the set bonus and looking at your DPS meter be slightly bigger. Because there's basically not fun in the actual design of them. Their effects are really quite boring, unfortunately. But, the fun would at least have been, building your, maybe building your set. And then, once you have all of those, gems in your gear and stuff, then you can do the upgrades. And then you can actually engage in that game loop. But with this, they've had this two-tiered problem of, you've got to get the Domination sockets. You then have to get the right piece of gear that activates the set bonus that you want. And then you've got to get all of the gems that you want. And it's once you have all of those things, now your track is on the rails. And whenever you get Stygian Embers from the raid, you're going to feel better about it because then you're doing your upgrades and stuff. So I'd just say, increasing accessibility to the system is the way to do it. I think a deterministic way would absolutely be preferable. I assume instead, though, that they're probably just going to increase the drop rate to the point where you're just shot, machine gunned with them, and you'll get them all pretty quickly. So there's that. I don't think there's too much else to talk about. If I talk about Domination Shards anymore, I will jump out a window. Now, speaking of jumping...
Oh, wow. What a smooth transition that was.
Yeah, we've got a interesting new item, actually. Genuinely an interesting new item because it does impact how you play the game. So you can have a new item now called the Gateway Control Shard that will, when you use it, cause you to interact with the nearest demonic gateway. That means that you use the demonic gateway without having to click on the demonic gateway. Now... Of course, this is something people can already do in a way, but I'll just go through Dakor's, his notes. So this isn't going to be massive for the casuals. This will be very welcome for people who raid. And a lot of this is down to some boss strategies being pretty reliant on very good use of the demonic gateways so as to either negate an AoE ability or quickly traverse the encounter space, which certainly is one of the reasons why there are a few times where whenever Leon is about for our raid, we all feel pretty good about that because we get our cookies, we can get our gateways if we need them. It's just nice to have a Warlock around. And this is now making the Warlocking experience even better. So first, you can already do this with a macro. You just create it's a focus target macro, and then you keybind interact on mouse over to that. But the thing here, though, is most people don't do that kind of thing, and they're just going to go and click on it. Now, the likes of me and Matt, we actually, and we'll get onto mouse cursor soon, we use a mouse cursor, my mouse cursor actually has got my, my cast bar and stuff on it, which is, I guess, kind of neat. But one of the nice things about the mouse cursor that I use in game is it's a bit larger than normal. So I always know where my mouse is, which makes demonic gateway usage easy enough, just with the old fashioned way of clicking on it. But for this, you could get the gateway control shard, and this will be 100% nice, reliable, no macros needed. You just keybind that to your board, and whenever you need to use that gateway, smash your button, boom, away you go. Just like how, there's some players who click on their extra action button. There are other players who have keybound it, and certainly it's better if you're the latter. So this is just a nice little quality of life thing that sort of circumvents not needing, because you don't need it, but, it circumvents the macro-based setup, which I think is the right way to do it, because these things, they shouldn't be involved in, with macros and all of that. And this, actually, I have to wonder if this is something Blizzard want to do more broadly, because in the last stream,
that's right.
Yeah, we talked about how they've basically made at least aspects of the implied target add-on be baseline now in regards to mouse over heals and stuff.
Yeah, so that's another thing they haven't commented on in any capacity, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it, because I think it was like I was saying about them specifically in the last stream. There's so much of playing World of Warcraft that feels good. It feels great because the game is, well architected in a number of ways. But also, there's just times you're playing and this is a game from 2004 that certain parts haven't been maybe given as much love as possible.
Yeah.
Because add-ons solve a lot of problems. Like, I've been using implied target since I found it in I guess it would have been Legion a little bit, so everything I had was mouse over by default without any macros, because actually setting up macros for everything is a massive pain in the ass. It's not very complicated. It's literally just a lot of copy and pasting, a lot of changing stuff. It's very annoying. So this is another example of genuine usability issue. Bit of a ratty solution, but actually solved.
Yeah.
Actually solved.
You know, I'm a big fan of changes like this, actually. So absolutely, you know, the more the merrier in the future. Our next thing then, another nice little quality of life thing, is the Venary Teleports. This isn't big breaking news or anything, but we now actually know where they are. So the Desmodron, or what the hell you call it, that fast travel point takes you just outside the raid entrance, and the Perdition Hold one takes you to the gates of Perdition Hold. So there you go. And one note here, the Desmotron location will be available as soon as the Anima Flow Stabilizer upgrade is purchased, but the Perdition Hold one is only available after having completed the Perdition Hold quest line for Venary, which I guess makes sense because that's the thing that introduces you to it. So yeah, Anima Flow Stabilizer. That's like the little go to Korthia thing, isn't it? Yeah. So there you go. You can go to the raid without having to run through Desmodron and pull 500,000 thick dudes. Who are going to rail on you for a bit, and maybe even dismount you, and then make you a little bit salty before raid night. So that's pretty good. Speaking of other good things, they've now made it so that the rescued souls in Torghast count towards your Covenant weekly. So this means, because you're probably going to be doing a bit of Torghast, but when you're doing Torghast, not only will you get significantly more Soul Cinders and the full quantity of Soul Ash, including if it is beyond your first run of that wing per week, not only do you have that improvement, you also have got the nice improvement of any of those souls you pick up will actually contribute to your Covenant Weekly. That's great. And by the way, that Covenant Weekly is actually a repeatable quest now. So there you go. This is not a big change, but it's just one of those nice little quality of life things where, you know, any one change like that doesn't make the game radically better. But the sum total of loads and loads and loads of changes like that, well, that does make the game better, and they are making plenty of those. That's great. Speaking of another similar such change, we've got the Field Anima Diverter, which has appeared on the PTR. So completing quests from Archivist Rosur will provide access to an Anima Diverter within Korthia, where Anima can be directly deposited. So you do that quest, and then this means that you can deposit all your Anima items when you're in the field without having to go back to your Covenant Sanctuary. So basically, whenever you go to Archivist Rosur to hand in your, your fragments or whatever they're called, like the artifacts and stuff that you get around Korthia, which clog up your bags, you'll also be able to deposit all the anima that also clogs up your bags. Now, I think it would be better if these things just were applied as soon as you get them. Yeah. Like, was it in BFA that they did that? Because they didn't do that in Legion, but they did in BFA. Oh, yes. No, in Legion you had to click on them manually. Yeah, I think. Yeah. It just would be nice if it operated a bit more clearly, but this is still a good change.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I will defend them this a little bit. Well, it's definitely not a major thing, but from the experience of being a player and returning anima to the anima pool actually always felt quite nice to me. I will say that moment of, oh, how much do I have in my bags? Maybe I should be able to know, thanks Blizzard, but clicking the deposit button and then seeing the thing fill up was actually fairly nice from a UX perspective. Same with the research. In a way, I liked the feeling of turning stuff in, but not worth the hassle. So I'll sort of vaguely defend them. They were, wasn't worth it, but it was a nice touch. It just wasn't worth the actual damage it did to filling up your bags and the general experience.